Yo, what up, my beautiful dowdies? How's everyone doing today? I'm your host, Val. Let's talk about the best Eidolons in Honkai Star Rail. I think it's always a question, should I pull for the light cone or get an Eidolon? And I think some characters have way more value in getting their light cone, but there's some Eidolons in this game that can go crazy and completely change the way you play these characters or completely changes the value of these characters. Another quick note of this list is that I really value the lower Eidolons over the later Eidolons. It's because yes, an E6 might be crazy for these characters, but if you have a lot of value in like an E1 or E2, I actually think that the E1 or E2 can be better than the E6 because you don't have to waste so many jades or money, if you're going to whale, on these upgrades. And a lot of free-to-play players, if they plan out very safely and think ahead, they can actually also pick up these Eidolons and it will skyrocket in value. Depending on how strong these first few Eidolons can be, I actually think that some of them are better than like an E4 or E6 then. So keep that in mind. So let's get straight into it. These are going to be the top 5 best Eidolons in Honkai Star Rail. Then for the first one, it is going to be Acaron E2. Acaron E2 is, in my opinion, such an interesting Eidolon because this reduces the nihility characters that you need on the field to maximize her damage. In other words, you only need to run one nihility character with her to really maximize the full damage that Acaron can do. And this leaves an open spot for like another character that can actually do way more than maybe another nihility character. Let's say the best team right now is Silver Wolf Pela. If you then take away one of those characters, you can actually run another harmony character like a Sparkle, for instance, that can just completely skyrocket Acaron's value. You have way more buffing capabilities. You can completely change up your team however you want it. You can construct a way different team and you're not so fixated on those nihility characters anymore. Now, if you have a really strong Acaron with amazing relics, then you can even start to really look at sustainless comps, which you can already do in general. But with this Eidolon, it goes through the roof in value. And soon, we're going to get our Foxboy. And when this Foxboy comes out, people that have E2 Acaron will probably just have this guy on the team. And then if you really want to go crazy, you can like go Spark or Rune May or something like that. And Acaron will absolutely dominate any type of enemy you have or any type of group of enemies. This Eidolon really makes sure that Acaron becomes like a flexible unit and the limits of your team building is gone. Any player that picked up this Eidolon is 100% having a very good time. Then for the number 4 spot is going to be E1 Rune May. E1 Rune May is very straightforward and very simple. While the ultimate zone is deployed, damage dealt by all allies ignore 20% of the target's defense. Now, this is one of those cases where the first Eidolon is such high value. I just think this is going to be one of the better things you could pick up on any supportive unit out there. Of course, Rune May's whole kit is already giga broken. The best character in the game, best support in the game. Add the E1 to it and you will even do more damage and you will succeed even more with high damage numbers. I do have to note that an honorable mention is E6. I think E6 Rune May is the greatest E6 in the game that we have. Doesn't matter what team you put her on or what character it is. This character, when it breaks the shield, will just do an unholy amount of damage. It extends the duration of the ultimate, so that is already a massive bonus for one turn. Then the talent break damage multiplier additionally is increased by 200%. I have seen some crazy stuff with this. Pela ultimate, 400k, you know? Sparkle basic attack, 200k. It doesn't matter what it is. The damage of the person that breaks the shield all of a sudden is so massive. So if you pair this up with the main ability of your main DPS that you actually want to deal damage with, you will do over millions of damage, and this is crazy for any team comp out there. I think E6 Rune May is the greatest E6, and if you really want to speak for damage numbers with value, I think that E6 Rune May is the best thing you could pick up. But that's 100% something to consider if you do plan on getting an E6. Then for the number 3 spot, of course, the E2 Dill. Rune is going to be one of the best Eidolons, I think, out there. E2 Dill is so crucial for Rune. It completely changes the way he plays and completely changes his damage. Rune is still a very valuable unit and can deal a lot of good damage. A E0 S0 Dill is still very good and will still crush a lot of enemies in this game. However, if you have an E2 Dill, his damage multiplication and just the amount of damage he can do in one turn goes crazy. After using his ultimate, Dunhang and Rune's action is advanced forward by 100%. Now, this is, of course, the best thing about this kit. This just means he gets a whole nother turn. And if you have the right team set up with that Sparkle, with that Tingyun, he will never run out of skill points because he will also gain 1 extra Sacrosancta. And this just means that he gets another stack when he uses his ultimate. He gets those passives, right? He gets his own skill points to use. So this really means he just gets a full enhanced basic attack after he uses his ultimate. So how you want to play this out is do 3 enhanced basic attacks, then ultimate, then you get another 3 enhanced basic attack, and then you will cast that again, and then you just have such a nuke of damage in the span of like 3 seconds. It goes crazy. Yet again, if you have Sparkle with this, you have that Ho-Ho with this, and that Tingyun, you will constantly have that ult uptime, and you will never run out of skill points. And a composition like this is a very, very big force to be reckoned with. And this is one of the greatest E2s in the game, and I still think that an E2 Dunhang is still one of the best DPSs in the game. Very good. If you're a Dunhang lover, highly consider this if you are trying to maximize his damage to the most potential that he can do. Then, of course, E1 Firefly. It was a bit of a brainstorm for me on this one because both E1 and E2 are very good for Firefly, but I did decide for this list to go for E1 because E1 just makes the gameplay and the smooth damage that Firefly already has, it enhances that further. When using the enhanced skill, ignores 15% of the target's defense. So this just further increases the damage that you do. Plus, the biggest thing about this Eidolon, in my opinion, the enhanced skill does not consume skill points. And we all know how skill point hungry Firefly can be, or that the Firefly composition can be. And having that E1 will just make sure that you'll never run out of skill points, and that the consistent damage that Firefly will do will just tenfold, you know? This will make sure that the brokenness of Firefly will just get even crazier, and you will just brute force your way through a lot of the content because you can also apply that fire weakness. Now, an honorable mention is, of course, that E2. While in complete combustion, using the enhanced basic attack or the enhanced skill to defeat an enemy target or to break their weakness allows Sam to immediately gain 1 extra turn. This effect can trigger again after 1 turn. So this is kind of the same thing that Dill has, of course. You know, you just get another turn. A very high speed Firefly is already very good, and I really think that the E1 has more value here. I think you could, if you had to choose between like E1 or E2, of course you're gonna pick up the E1 if you want to go for the E2. But if you are a free-to-play player, I think saving your Jades for maybe another Eidolon or a Light Cone would be better than actually going for an E2 Firefly. Especially if you had Rune May with the speed bonus and a well-built one. I personally don't think that you need this. She'll already deal a lot of damage, and because they're completely broken the whole time, they cannot play the game anyway. So that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, if you actually think that E2 is the most valuable one and why that would be. Before we go for the last one, I have an honorable mention. I still think that E2 Kafka is extremely valuable. Of course, I am a DOT lover. This is of course very biased, but if you have an E2 Kafka, all the DOT dealt by allies increases by 25%. And this is something to consider if you want to play DOT from now to the end of time. This 100% will make sure that any DOT comp or any new DOT unit will just skyrocket in value, and you will never really run out of DOT options or DOT team building. I think this is a very valuable Eidolon, and that's why this is the honorable mention. Then for the last one, I will go for E2 Sparkle. E2 Sparkle is very valuable, and it enables not only dual DPSing, but it enables the whole party's DPS. Every stack of the talent's effect allows allies to additionally ignore 8% of the target's defense when dealing damage. So this can go crazy, right? Especially when you have allies that use a lot of skill points, this is going to skyrocket in value. If you have compositions where you use 2 DPSs or even 3, this will even do more damage. Yes, you have one character that maybe gets the most value because Sparkle will buff that specific ally and enhances that specific ally forward. But with this Eidolon, the whole party just benefits from using skill points, and the defense shredding can go insane, and you have so many ways to just keep their defense low and deals amazing amount of damage. Of course, you also have 7 instead of 5, so this Eidolon just really matches Sparkle's capabilities and really maximizes the strength and further enhances her playstyle. And I really like this. I do think that this Eidolon is not really used because, of course, an E2 for a unit that already is very valuable on E0 is always going to be a little bit awkward in a way, because an E0 S0 is also very valuable. Like more characters in this Legend, Rune May is also very good on E0 S0. You don't really need this, but if you do have this, you're going to have an insane skyrocket in your DPS, and you have so much more team building with this Eidolon. And I think that's why it's so good. This Eidolon really shows that the only limitations are your imagination, you know? You can do so many cool things with this Eidolon. You could probably make a lot of cool compositions that are not normal or that normally don't work. And I think Eidolons like that also are really valuable and make sure that the game keep being fun, you know? Some Eidolons like that E2 Dale for me completely changes up the playstyle and just gives more fun factors in a game that's already very fun with the strategy archetype. Let me know in the comments down below which of these 5 Eidolons are your favorite, and also let me know what your favorite Eidolon is in the entire game. Maybe your most valuable Eidolon was not in this list. Let me know in the comments down below which Eidolon you think is the most valuable and has the most strength out of all the characters and all their Eidolons that they possess. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel, means the world to me if you could do that. Make sure to join the Discord. We're trying to grow the community even further. And if you want to support the channel even further, then become a member. I love you all, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care. Peace.